last Friday of October. Time really flies, you know. Soon the year will end, but don't cringe if you've not been able to fulfill your resolutions. Take the days, one at a time, and you realize that you're gradually making up for lost time and getting close to realizing, if not all, some of your dreams and resolutions. Welcome to JoyNews Interactive. I'm Bernice Abu Beidu. As usual, we're live on the JoyNews channel on Multi-TV, DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Your comments are welcome on Facebook and Twitter. Our name is JoyNews on TV. Today, there's a lot to discuss. We'll be talking about the legend Arama Bidu, who we hear has passed on. She did that song. I'm not too sure if you know it, but all right, that song. And then we'll also be talking about the biggest stories of the week. Mapito Sibidi will join us with us like she does every Friday. And then we'll also be talking about death. Yes, I'll tell you what exactly about death we'll be talking about. First off, it's been the biggest story of the week, if you ask me. Yeah, the harrowing experience of the 4-year-old girl at Asin Adadiente. Now, she was defiled, allegedly, and there's been this back and forth, blame games here and there, God's exonerating suspects and all that. Anyway, there's a social media campaign to get justice for her. And 2 hashtags are trending: justice for her and multimedia's own justice for kids, because we know that even in that particular town, this 4-year-old is not the only one who has suffered such sexual abuse. Now, Maps will be joining me shortly to talk about that, because it's been the biggest story of the week, but also because it's trending on Twitter. As of the time I checked right before coming here, it was top trends, justice for her. I've tweeted about it, and a couple of people, I've seen Anita Esking, I've seen OMG Voice, everybody's just getting on board, because this is, one too many. We've just been hearing some of these things, and sometimes because of culture and society's reaction, we shield the suspects. Sometimes they are even very close people, some are really close relatives. So hashtag justice for her is trending. We'll be talking about that shortly. Maps will join me now to talk about it, and she's looking really, really great. Hello, Maps.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me as usual.
Let's talk about justice for her. When we broke that story, Maxwell Agbaba broke that story.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately, just like a wildfire, it caught on.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people have started a lot of campaigns. We have the Justice for Kids, we've seen Justice for Her. You tell us more about this particular one.
So our 4 main aims is prevention, protection, education, and advocacy. So with the first one, prevention, we're just trying to prevent rape and defilement in all areas in Ghana, especially in Ghana. And then the second one is protection, is that the victims that have been defiled, we need to protect them. We need to make sure that suspects are not put in the same area as the victims, and they don't have access to the victims, because it's very unfair and it's unfortunate that the suspect is in the same compound or in the same house as the victim. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to protect the victims. Our third one is education. We need to educate our people that if a matter like this comes, you go to the appropriate authorities, you go to the police so that they can help you and investigate this whole matter. The fourth one is advocacy. We need to speak we need to be voice for the voiceless. You understand? Yeah. And then we need to change community perspectives from suspicions. So if a child says, I don't like Uncle whoever, investigate why she doesn't like Uncle whoever. Maybe Uncle whoever makes her feel uncomfortable. We need to change the perspective that, oh no, it's your uncle. Oh, go say hi to Uncle, hug Uncle whoever. Yeah, kiss Uncle. Oh, just because he's family doesn't mean that the girls are safe or the boys are safe. You understand? Our other one is that attention needs to be given to unresolved cases.
That's a big one.
That is a big one.
And that's why, let me just bring the clarity in here. That's why we and Multimedia are doing Justice for Kids. Justice for Her, yes, we've tweeted, I've tweeted, my people, and a lot of other people have tweeted Justice for Her, because it's trending on Twitter and all that. But here at Multimedia, we are doing Justice for Kids, because just like Mapito says, there are a lot of unresolved cases.
Yes, and we need to, it mustn't end here. We need to continue fighting this. We can't let the patriotic system win, the whole, the chiefs and the traditions. This can't be going on like this. We need to give to the appropriate, what's this thing called? authorities. Sure. Yes, and then the other one that we need to do is that police procedures for investigations need to be, we need to have thorough investigations, and that victims paying for medical reports, what is that? Personally, I don't understand that. I've just been defiled and you expect me to pay for my medical reports. Like, how does it work?
It could be a barrier to justice, because if the person then doesn't have money,
yes,
then there's a big problem with that. All right, so Mapito, you just hold on a bit, because like I said, justice for her is trending, and I'm personally glad, because other media houses have joined in the campaign, and it's great. And really, this is not about you or me. It's just about getting all these young girls and other sexually assaulted persons justice. So on Twitter, Mami Enima is tweeting #justice for her. Please, CTCBS, add your voice to this cry. Okay, she's tagging everyone, saying that their voice can be heard everywhere. And Anita Esking, like I mentioned earlier, she's tweeting about OMG Voice joining the campaign, #justice for her, in the case of the 4-year-old girl. And a lot of people setting up funds, you know, trying to donate. So there you have them. Lots of people just mounting pressure on government and the appropriate authorities. So if you can see the Ghana trends, justice for her is actually top trends. And I'm really excited because then we are putting a lot of attention, not only local, Mapito, also international attention. We can go on and on about justice for her, because really we won't rest until justice is served. But Mapito, there have been other, well, call them big stories this week that we've had.
So last week we spoke about this.
You are ashamed.
I am ashamed. I am ashamed.
For those of you who didn't watch last week, Mapito actually, you know, placed her bet on Bukom Bank. She said Bukom Bank was going to win that bout.
But what did I say before?
But you did it with caution.
Yes.
But you still said Bukom was going to win.
Because you know what? You need to have like faith in people. You know, me, I like to have faith in people. So I was just like, let's give it a try. Yeah. I'm just lucky that I didn't bet any money on him.
So yes. Bukom lost. He's been speaking. He says Ghanaians talk too much. Can you imagine? Bukom saying that Ghanaians talk too much.
You are telling us we're talking too much.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Please.
But we brought you a couple of stories as a result of that bout over the weekend. A lot of you shared your thoughts with us here on JoyNews Interactive. And all right, so Mapito, we're hearing of a rematch. Like, would you still?
No, I wouldn't. No, you know, once bitten, twice shy.
You need to, you see, maybe you should learn from me. I stay safe.
But here's the thing, what's the fun in staying safe? What's the fun in staying safe? Is life about staying safe? We need to take risks. Get out of your comfort zone.
With Bukom Bank,
I did take a risk.
Anyway, so that was one of the biggest stories for us. That was the aftermath of that bout between Basti Samir and Bukom Banku. But we've also been asking you, our viewers, what your biggest story of the week is. And Mapito, you may just want to read a couple of those comments. Sakara A. Kala says, the Kwesi Botre report saying former President Mahama was a movie star, and Nuakwa God knows Billy saying the official wasting of taxpayers 2.5 million for useless GPS. Oh, for him, that was his biggest story. Yeah, that was quite a big one. And Mapito, you can continue.
And then Joe Dunya says $2.5 million for GPS map, which is free on Google. I can't think far. KB reports, page 99.7.
That's
you know where to get it.
Sadat Larry Kokroko says, Chiefs and Gods, 4-year-old girl defiled and justice must be served, Mr. President. Takal Kasiku Jeremiah says, MPP Metro Boys go gaga all over the country.
And Thomas says, Bukom Banks, aka man, can never be silent until he meets his meter.
All right.
What does that even mean?
Until he meets his meter, you know, it's just an expression here in Ghana.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you know, a meter measures or takes an account of something just to know how much it costs or all that. So a man is not silent until he meets someone who is able to put him at his level.
Okay.
Yeah, you get it. But Binful Richmond says $2.5 billion already existing Google Play app. It seems to be a lot of people's biggest story of the week, Max.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you downloaded?
I have.
And what do you think about it?
You know, we're trying it out. I didn't have network, and it was quite difficult to use the app. Imagine if I was in an emergency, how were they going to locate me? You know, so already I'm wasting time on trying to get them to locate me instead of calling ambulance service, fire service, stuff like that. So I think maybe it needs a little bit of work. I don't know.
Maybe it does. It was one of the problems that we had, and we spoke to the software developers.
Yeah.
The fact that there already is an existing problem, or there's an existing problem of internet access.
Yes.
But this app runs on the internet, and so if people need it, for example, if you send me, I have to send you my postcode and I don't have the internet, what happens?
What happens?
So yeah, I mean, that particular story passed for some people's biggest story of the week. And obviously, Bikala also says that the 4-year-old girl's defilement. We'll take a quick breather here. But when we come back, Mapito,
yes,
I pray you don't die today. But if you do, would you have any regrets?
Ooh. After the break.
After the break, we'll bring you more on that particular one. What would you do, or what would be that regret, if there's any, if you die today? We'll be back with more. Please stay. Really interesting video. Then that video has been trending for some time now, Maps. Yes. I don't know if this happened in South Africa, what would the interpretation be?
That he's just jealous. He's trying to ruin my wedding, and I will set the dogs on him. You do not come to my wedding and do that.
Well, what people are saying on social media is probably this man is just an ex who's really bitter.
Yeah.
But let's talk about dying, because it's something a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it's a reality that we'll all have to face one day. So here's what an Australian nurse did. She's catalogued people's regret on their dying beds. She spent several years working in palliative health care. And one of the regrets that she picked up from dying people is that, they actually regret working so hard and not having fun.
That's a big regret, because I mean, we often try to work hard, accumulate funds to buy big houses, big cars, and then at the end of the day, we leave those houses, those big cars.
And sometimes, unfortunately for some people, they end up spending all that money taking care of themselves. But let's find out what you've been sharing with us. And our question was, or is, would you have any regrets if you die today? Interesting. Forgive Saga says, my regret will not, I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
So my regret will not, to educate girl child.
Okay, there's a problem with that. I'm sure you're trying to say my regret will be not being able to educate the girl child and women in general to be self-dependent and be in charge of who they are and who should touch their body, or not teaching young girls defensive mechanisms. So forgive, I think you should start that now, because you never know when death will come knocking. I wish you long life though. But Ralph Gardner Dodu says, being born a Ghanaian, growing up in an era where morality is seen as immorality, insincerity is rewarded, and it breaks your heart. You haven't fought enough to expose traitors of this country. That will be your greatest regret if you die today. Hope Siani says,
a dead man has no knowledge of the living and the dead. So I will only regret if I'm told on the judgment day that I haven't secured heaven's visa while on earth.
That's a big one for a lot of religious people.
Yes. And wisdom says, I will regret leaving my 2 kids behind. What will pain me most is different men will take over my wife. Oh, jealous man.
Can you imagine
Protecting
But that's his regret.
Yeah.
Anthony says, Ecclesiastes 9:5 says, the dead know nothing about the living. So how will I regret something while I'm dead? All right, that's a question. But we didn't say you regret it when you're dead. Now, this particular nurse whose story we are basing our question on actually has been working in that particular industry, or in the palliative care sector for 12 years.
Yeah.
And she's just had time to counsel people as they prepare to die. And she just realized that there were a lot of regrets on deathbeds, and people wish they had done things, or people wish they hadn't spent too much time doing some other things. And that's what we're asking you today. If you die, if today's your last day on earth, the first question is, would you have any regrets?
What would be your regrets?
That's a big one. If I die today, my regret will be that I didn't fulfill my potential, probably, because I feel there's a lot in me that I want to share with the rest of the world. And so, God, please don't let me die today, so I can give all that I have to give before I die. I'm sure my biggest regret will be I'll be unsatisfied. I'll feel unfulfilled. I want to die knowing that I'm just giving my all and I'm empty as I'm going.
All the talents you gave me, God.
Everything.
I've used all of them.
Yes, everything. But let's continue. My captain says, my regret will not be having time for my maker and not being able to win souls for him. And I'll also regret living up to my own expectation rather than his. And Jaman says, I have no regrets in life. Everything happens for a reason.
And then Favor says, in fact, I'm not going to die. Poor so forget.
Oh, I like your faith, you know. Sometimes religious people, especially Christians I've met, they say that, well, they're not going to die because they believe that maybe like it happened for Enoch or Elijah, you know. They may just be captured in a whirlwind. It's okay. It's your faith.
Yes.
But let's move on. Mapito is South African. I'm not sure you know this woman too well. This is really sad news that hit us this morning. Do you remember the song? So Mapito, this song was a hit years ago, you know, but news broke this morning that the veteran high lifer, you know, a lot of men were doing high life, but Erama Bedu was one of the few women. I think she's the only woman I can remember growing up hearing doing high life. I'm sorry if I don't remember any other person, but she just stood out. We hear that she died while she was on admission at the Ifijase Government Hospital, and a lot of people have just been sharing, you know, their fondest memories of her, what they remember of her. Rosemond Asumening actually says that one by one we are going and judgment awaits us all. She says, let's live for Christ. If we finally leave this body someday, may her soul rest in peace. It's interesting we're talking about regrets, and then we have to do Erama Bedu's death as well.
Unfortunate. And then Edwin says, in woman category, at the time she was in her own class. My condolences to her family. And Na Odai, she actually says, oh, I'm sure she's just lost for words. She says, may her soul rest in peace. And Raphael says, all the great musicians are passing away. Who will take up from them? And that's a big one, because high life is original to us, but you realize that a lot of the young female singers who are coming up are trying to do a measure of, you know, trying to do high life in a very contemporary way. But that's a big question, because who takes over from Erama? We are evolving, so
Sure
we are evolving. So
Sure
what the people want, we must give them.
Exactly.
You know, so give them what they want.
Sure, give them what they want. And the last one, John Kwame Youngson says, my condolences to the entire family of Erama Bedu. And that's how we end this edition of JoyNews Interactive. As always, it's fun when Mapito and I have to tell you what's been happening, the biggest stories of the week. And today you shared with us what your biggest stories of the week have been. Mapito?
Bernice?
That's how we end today's edition. We wish you all the best. Have fun during the weekend.